Let's talk about when you're manifesting in something that is not what you desire, how do you turn shit into gold? Stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. Hey everyone, my name is Kim Velez. I'm a former trauma therapist, now turned manifestation, transformation coach, whatever. I just get to do what I love every day, which is watch all you beautiful, amazing people heal, thrive, and manifest the best version of you and the best fucking life possible. So I heard a client and I were talking the other day, and she said this to me, and I loved it. And she was like, "You're always turning shit into gold." And I really like that. So let's talk about this because a lot of people really believe that once I learn law of assumption, once, like I'm understanding that my thoughts create my reality, that I'm never, ever, ever going to manifest in some type of circumstance that is not what I desire. And that is just not true. That is not the case. I talk about this so much in a million of my videos. You've already heard it a million times, but I'm here to remind you, while we still will get what we want, while we still can believe and manifest a reality that even with these undesirable circumstances, somehow, some way, it still works out in my favor. Absolutely, right? But you still may get an unfolding of circumstances that is not to your preference, and you still get your way. I know because I've done that. And I've done it where the circumstances were amazing, right? And I got my way. But I want to remind you guys to keep you empowered and remind you that even if there is an unfolding of circumstances and it doesn't look pleasing, it still can be to your benefit. It still can work out in your way. And it's about learning how to manifest shit into gold. Seriously, that's what we're doing. We're looking at, oh, I don't like this, and no thank you, right? This is what I do not want. And then you do the inner work to shift into the version of you that, well, if I had what I wanted, what would be different about me? And focus on the story that supports that. And that's how you get the circumstances to really maneuver, even if they're unfavorable, even if they look like they're not getting better. And I've done this many times. I've done this with legal issues. I've done this in love life. I've done this with business, money. I've done this with a lot of areas in my life before I knew law of assumption, after I knew law of assumption. And it's the same process. It's literally just understanding, okay, am I going to let this circumstance control me? Am I looking outside of me at an unfolding of something that is not what I prefer, the way it's unfolding? And am I allowing that to tell me that because this is what it looks like right now, this second, that means I'm not getting what I want? That means that somehow, some way, this is not working in my favor. Well, if you're doing that, then that's why you're going to end up manifesting most likely an outcome that is not desirable for you. And the goal is, right, is that as master manifestors, we literally, this light is so bright over here. I feel like I'm like this glowing angel over here with this light. But as master manifestors, right, we literally empower ourselves that even if something's unfolding that is not the way that I prefer, it can still turn in my favor. I can still get the favorable outcome. And that is a powerful place to be, because then you're not looking at the circumstance and deciding, oh my gosh, this isn't working for me, or it may get worse. We don't do that as master manifestors, not as conscious manifestors. We look and we say, okay, what do I want instead? And who would I be if this was already out of my life and I was already in the wish fulfilled? I already was in the solution. Well, you would be someone different. So you need to pick the story. You want to shift emotionally into that version of you as best as you can so that you feel less stress, you feel less anxiety. Feelings do not manifest, but it's about helping you not suffer so much with the shitty unfolding of the circumstances, right? Because we are human and we're going to be triggered at times and we're going to feel things, but you still don't get scared. If I'm feeling insecure, if I'm feeling scared, if I'm feeling worried that I'm not going to get what I want, you keep your mental diet on point and you do the work to shift into the version of you as best as you can that, well, who's the opposite of me if I had what I wanted? If this was already done and over with and I got the outcome I desired, well, I wouldn't be scared right now. I wouldn't be feeling insecure. So then you practice moving into that, embodying that state, being that version of you. That's what being in the wish fulfilled is. It's who are you in the desired outcome? Who are you in the reality you want? Well, it's not the same version of us that's sitting here, feeding panic with thoughts, feeding fear with thoughts, feeding insecurities with thoughts. We may feel insecure, we may feel panicked, we may feel fear, but we still can control our thoughts, and we still can practice and shift as best as we can to start neutralizing that fear, to start neutralizing that insecurity within you, and start embodying a version of you who is in the outcome that they want. Even though you're saying the right thoughts and you're thinking the right thoughts and you're choosing to flip them, you still believe and you still are being a version of you who's anchored in the old reality, which is why you're not getting a lot of movement, or you're not learning how to really have even more shifts, and empower yourself to understand it's an internal game. So mental diet is so important. We have to master our mind with our mental diet. That's what conscious manifesting is. It's I'm aware of my thoughts, and I'm aware that I'm choosing new thoughts, and we program the subconscious mind that way. But there's other ways to shift and embody and program the subconscious mind, so you're hitting it all at once. I always say this: you change your thoughts, change your feelings, and change your actions, so they all align with the version of you and the wish fulfilled, right? The panicked version of me, like when my son went to prison multiple times, and then the last time when he had this court case hanging over his head right before COVID, when the moments I felt nervous or worried for him because the length of time he possibly could have done was like 7 or 10 years in prison. But I was like, not in my fucking reality, right? I chose, no, we're going to manifest a different outcome. And every time we would get feedback in the 3D where it didn't look favorable, didn't look like good news. But even when that happened, and if it triggered me and I felt insecure, I did all these things I'm telling you. I'm like, if I already had the outcome, if we knew that this was resolved, if we knew that this was never hanging over our heads anymore, and he was, free and moved on with life, and, prison was not an option, right? Like that was it. Then what would be different about me? What would my thoughts? How would I feel? And I just kept living in the end that way of me. Who's the version of me in that reality? And guess what? We got the outcome. He didn't have to do 7 to 10 years. In fact, he did no time, and it got put down to a misdemeanor. They were literally threatening him with 7 to 10 years. And it was a law that if he was convicted, it would have been mandatory 7 to 10 years. And we didn't even get to that because that shit don't happen. I turn shit into gold. I want you to turn shit into gold. So sometimes it can feel daunting. Sometimes it can feel scary. Sometimes we can really be so hooked and locked in to the current reality that we're forgetting our power. Your job is to disconnect from that and to start connecting with the version of you. What is she thinking? What is she believing? What is she feeling? And what are the choices she's making? Because what I was going to say, and I totally forgot, was when he was going through all of that, the moments I felt insecure and I wanted to take action in 3D from the insecure, scared version of me was, oh, maybe I need to get a different lawyer. And I caught myself and I slowed down and I did deep breathing and I changed my thoughts and I moved myself into the version of me that this was no longer an issue. I didn't have to figure anything out because it was already done and over with and he was good to go. And I had no desire to get another lawyer. And I didn't need to get another lawyer because it worked out the way that we wanted, even in the in-between, even in the middle, when there were moments that it maybe looked like it wasn't. We got the desired outcome. That was like, 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, and like no issues since then. And there will be no more issues ever again. So we really have to understand who we're being because it all is determining what we're going to get for ourselves. So choose the thoughts, choose the feelings, and choose the actions. I love you all. If you want some freebies, link is below. If you want to work with me, there's some links below and how you can explore this and really deep dive into this and really learn how to empower yourself and turn shit into gold, baby, because we really can. All right. I love you guys. Bye.